Cool, so a little modest confusion about my last video about burning diamonds. The whole idea, NileRed apparently had burnt some diamonds and drunk them. The goal is not to burn diamonds. I'd done that some time ago. And there, jiggle it around a bit. And like that. There you have gold. I'm ready to see if I can use diamond to melt the gold. We will see. And diamond is now red hot. Might be hot enough to burn? Not hot enough to burn. Is that burning? I think that's burning. There we go, one burning diamond. This is gold. My God, that's so cool! That is so cool. It's got a flame. That is awesome. That is just so cool. So diamond's one of the best thermal conductors. I'm just curious if I can actually go into the middle. My God, it's putting out a lot of heat. That's amazing. That's got to do it. Come on. That's almost white. Okay, any more on the oxygen? No, we're running on full on the oxygen. Something moved. It looks very much like gold is just too good of a conductor. But on the bright side, it was a real diamond. And when I did it, these, just so you know, these are your forms of carbon. So that's your graphite, and that there is the sort of diamond that I have burnt in the past. There's your graphite, and there's your diamond. So that's a diamond, cost about $20 or something. So you get them off eBay, they're fairly cheap, and that's graphite. Both of these, it turns out, are quite a struggle to burn unless they get up to the best part of 1,000 degrees in a pure oxygen atmosphere. Oh, there we go, got it, got it. That's the graphite burning. No flame on it, but it's... Oh, and I melted the gold, I've done it! I've done it! Oh, that's awesome. So that bead there is the gold. Sat in the middle, gold at 1,000 degrees. So I had actually burnt these sorts of guys before with the goal of melting gold with them, which not the most sophisticated of ideas, but a bit of fun. You know, like burning diamonds to drink, that sort of thing. So, under the microscope, the diamond looks like that, which is pretty ugly. It's certainly not the beautiful crystals I was showing you yesterday. So if I was to take a look at the actual structure of these things, they're all of course made up of carbon atoms. Graphite is just planes of carbon atoms like that. Diamond is these, well, depends how you look at it, well, it's a diamond structure really. But the interesting thing about the diamond structure, just like with graphite, there are places where if you look at it, there are planes that go through it. But there's more than one place where you can look at it and you can sort of get all the atoms to line up in planes. So here's one here. I know that'll be perfectly in line for the camera. But you get these places where they all line up. And you get the same thing with diamond. So here is clearly one face, and here's another. And there are several of these that go through the structure, and that's basically what you're looking at. So we actually find it. So that's actually the planes that you're looking at here are the planes of certain faces of the diamond. Now, obviously, once I heat this thing up and it starts to burn, most things when they burn, it all happens in the gas. So molecules come off and they collide with each other in a gas, and that's the reaction that gives you the flame. Yeah, I can't get that with a diamond because it's a solid gas reaction. So what's going to happen is oxygen atoms are going to have to come along here, partially stick to this to give you probably a sort of carbon monoxide type motif on the surface, and then at some point they're going to probably rattle off and maybe burn as carbon monoxide, or you're going to have oxygen that's going to come along and it'll depart as carbon dioxide. So if you take a diamond crystal, I don't know which planes here relates to which faces on this structure, right? But you're going to have, no matter which way you cut the diamond, you're going to have faces, you're going to have edges, and you're going to have corners. The corners you probably expect to be the most reactive because there's only one bond holding it on here, and there's lots of places where an oxygen can come along and stick on here. So we expect the corners to burn off first of all. But now you got the thing of which is now the most chemically reactive part of the diamond. Is it the edges? Probably. They've only got 2 bonds, whereas everything on the face has 3. But not necessarily. So it's not clear whether it's going to burn down through faces like this, or whether it's going to burn off of edges and go to a sort of ball-shaped thing, or what. I don't know. And it may even do other weird stuff like, the temperatures that you've got, it might go from one allotrope to another. So it might actually, once it gets hot enough, to just transform into graphite, which then burns in a different way altogether. Or you might get some sort of quasi-exotic species like fullerenes. In fact, you almost certainly will. So if you strip layers off of graphite, these can sort of wrap around to form bowls or nanotubes or fullerenes. So these are all things that the diamond, when it's burning, gets up to over 1,000 degrees. Yeah. So you're probably going to get all sorts of exotic species. And also there's this guy who does microscopy who emailed me, said he wanted, he works at a fairly decent university and needs some fairly decent kit, and he wanted to maybe do something with these microscopes for outreach. And I've had these diamonds forever, and I've been speculating what the hell I could do with them, other than looking pretty, of course. And burning them would actually be a fairly interesting study. And just so you know, these aren't by a long way the rarest thing that I've got here. These are probably the rarest crystals in the universe, in that there are probably no other crystals like this in existence. And these are actually born of a screw-up of mine. And what makes them so fascinating is they're actually imidazole crystals. There we go. So the reason they're so beautiful is because they're gas-deposited crystals. Imidazole is a small aromatic thing, makes up the side chain of the amino acid histidine. So it's important for life, which is why we were studying it. And I wanted to dry some imidazole. However, I hadn't really checked with the Well, I checked what the melting point was, but I didn't realise that it sublimed. So we had it in a vacuum oven, along with some deuterated imidazole. You know, the experiment required regular imidazole, which is dirt cheap, deuterated imidazole, which is, I don't know, a few $100 a gram or something. And of course, if you're going to dry them in a vacuum oven, you need to take the lids off. And so we'd left them both in the vacuum oven, and it's actually fairly volatile. So it had actually started generating a vapor pressure, and it started forming these beautiful crystals on the front of the vacuum oven, which really does make these some of the rarest crystals in the universe, because they're a mix of deuterated and non-deuterated imidazole. And first of all, deuterated imidazole essentially doesn't exist. The only place it exists in the universe is kind of on Earth, where we make it. And no sane man would ever actually try to get mixed crystals of imidazole and deuterated imidazole. So these beautiful guys here are mixed deuterated, non-deuterated imidazole crystals. Cool. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, yeah, drop a like on this video and maybe subscribe.